You paid your credit card on time every single month. You didn't miss a payment. You didn't blow your budget. And then you pulled up your credit score and it had dropped. And I know what that feels like. That quiet frustration when you've done everything they told you to do and it still somehow isn't enough. Here's what I want you to know right now. You didn't do anything wrong. What happened to you has a name. It has a mechanism. And banks have understood it for years. They just never had any reason to explain it to you. Today, I'm going to. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to do about it. I want you to think about someone. Let's call her Maya. She's 34. She works in marketing, makes around $58,000 a year. And for the past couple of years, she's been quietly, seriously, trying to get her financial life in order. She set up autopay so she'd never miss a due date. She uses her card for groceries, gas, her gym membership. Because she heard that using your card and paying it off builds credit. And every month, she pays the full balance when the statement arrives. She is doing everything right. So last month, when she pulled up her score before applying for a car loan she'd been planning for 2 years and saw it had dropped 11 points, she just sat there. She hadn't missed a payment. Hadn't changed her spending. Hadn't applied for anything new. What Maya didn't know, and what almost nobody tells us, is that she had been unknowingly triggering a penalty every single month. Not because of what she owed, but because of when the bank chose to look. Here's what's actually going on inside the credit system. Every month, your credit card company reports your balance to the credit bureaus. Experian, Equifax, TransUnion. But here's the part nobody explains. They don't report it on your due date. They don't report it on the day you pay. They report it on something called your statement closing date, which is usually 21 to 28 days before your payment is even due. On that day, your bank takes a snapshot. Whatever balance is sitting in your account at that exact moment, that's the number that gets sent to the bureaus. That's the number that becomes your credit utilization ratio. And that is the number that moves your score. So, say you spent $1,800 on a card with a $3,000 limit. Completely normal month. Your utilization on that card is 60%. And anything above 30% starts pulling your score down, even if you turn around and pay every single dollar of it by the due date. The system isn't tracking whether you're a responsible borrower. It's taking a photo on one specific day of whatever balance happens to be there. And it never tells you when the photo is being taken. Now, here's where this hits women differently. And I want to be clear. I'm not saying this to make you feel like a victim. I'm saying it because understanding a system is the first step to beating it. Women in the US earn about 83 cents for every dollar men earn. That wage gap directly affects your credit limit because banks set limits based on your income. Lower income, lower limit. Lower limit, same spending habits create a higher utilization percentage. It's the exact same grocery run. It's a bigger hit to your score. And for women who've taken career breaks, maternity leave, caregiving, time off after a divorce, you come back to find your credit already a little bruised. Lower balances, paused activity, softened scores. The utilization trap hits hardest at the exact moment you're already trying to rebuild. We were taught to be responsible with money. We were never taught to be strategic about it. And in this particular system, those two things are not the same. Let's put a number on this. Because percentages are abstract and real life is not. A 40 to 50 point drop in your credit score, exactly the kind of swing an unmanaged utilization ratio can cause, can mean the difference between a mortgage rate of 6.5% versus 7.3%. On a $300,000 home loan over 30 years, that difference is roughly $52,000 in extra interest. $52,000. Not because you defaulted. Not because you were reckless. Because of a reporting date that nobody ever sat down and explained to you. Women already retire with about 30% less saved than men. And that gap comes from a lot of places. The wage gap. Career interruptions. But also from small, invisible disadvantages like this one, that compound quietly over years and determine what rates we get, what loans we qualify for, and what financial moves we're able to make. I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm saying it because this one is fixable. Completely. And the fix takes about 10 minutes. Here's what women who are strategic about their credit actually do. And it is not complicated. First, they find their statement closing date. Open your banking app right now, look under account details or billing cycle. It's there. It takes 60 seconds. Then, a couple of days before that closing date, they make a payment. Not necessarily the full balance. Just enough to bring their utilization below 30%, ideally under 10% if they're actively trying to improve their score. Then they pay whatever's left by the due date, like normal. Your spending doesn't change. Your budget doesn't change. You're just controlling when the snapshot is taken, instead of letting the bank decide for you. Let me tell you about Diane. She was 39, a project manager, recently divorced, and starting over with finances that had been mostly managed by her ex-husband for 8 years. Her credit score was around 640. Not terrible, but not what she needed for the mortgage she was trying to get. She learned about statement closing dates. Set a calendar reminder 2 days before hers every month. Made a small early payment, just enough to keep her utilization around 12%. That's it. That was the whole change. For months later, her score had gone up 47 points. 14 months after that, she closed on a 2-bedroom apartment. Her name, her terms, her first property, one behavior, one timing shift, and the math took care of the rest. A lot of us were raised to believe that being strategic about money, really understanding it, optimizing it, advocating for yourself inside these systems, is somehow aggressive, or greedy, or not how women are supposed to relate to money. I want to offer you a different way of thinking about it. Knowing how your credit score works isn't greedy, it's literate. It's the same as reading a lease before you sign it. It's not taking something from anyone. It's just refusing to leave what's already yours sitting on the table. So here's the one thing I want you to take from today. Find your statement closing date. That's it. That's where this starts. Everything else follows from that one piece of information. And if this clicked something into place for you, I'd love to have you back for the next one.